So I'm here with Phillip Sayce, and Phillip, I've got to say, actually, why is it taking you so long to get back here? I mean, come on, really. I mean, we're literally almost in your home where you were born.
I know, we were just talking about this. You're saying it's just over an hour away.
Literally, you're the wrong side of the river, but it's about an hour and 10, hour and 15.
By car, just. Well, maybe we should go drive after the show, go check it out.
I did take the guitar, we'll get a bottle of Jack. I mean, I'm with you.
Man. Well, I'll drive. I'm more than happy to let you have the Jack, and I'll drive, and you tell me where we're going.
So, 2 years you spent in Aberystwyth before, of course, you moved over to Canada.
That's right.
We've come a long way, haven't we, from you dancing around your house with a tennis racket to Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been an incredible journey you've become on. And everything that you play is self-taught.
Well, everything that I'm playing and working on, I am a student of music for life. So, everything is self-taught just by watching people that I admire.
But it must be you must have a hell of a gift for being a teacher, because I've been watching you with the warmer outside, and it evokes memories of every influence that you've ever had. I mean, from Hendrix right the way through to Eric Clapton. I mean, there's bits of everything, and you just play it as if it's an extension of you.
Oh, that's so kind. Well, thank you. I mean, these are the players you just mentioned, and many others are a lot of players that are sort of the soundtrack of my life. My parents played in the house while I was growing up, and certainly, my dad would. The first time we heard the song "Crossfire" by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and my dad, I was in the car with my dad, and he leaned over and he goes, "Man, this guy's as good as Eric Clapton." And Clapton, in the house was the top. So when he was like, "Man, Stevie's as good as Eric?" Wow. I was a little kid. I didn't understand. Music is never a competition. But no, these players were played in the house all the time, and Ry Cooder and B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Albert Collins, really a lot of great music. And so I'm thankful to my mom and dad for sharing that.
Your first gig was Eric Clapton at the the Maple Leaf Gardens.
I love that that it was called Maple Leaf Gardens. Very good.
I mean, really famous venue. So, but not only was Clapton playing there, but also one of your other major influences, Mark Knopfler, was playing there. On the same stage.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 Guitar Hero situation. Yeah, and I was a kid. I wasn't playing guitar at the time. I didn't really understand. But I knew that something happened to my body when Clapton walked out and started playing. That show, he was starting, they were playing that kind of Crossroads version, but not the up-tempo one, but the kind of more groovy one.
Yeah.
And he, the lights went down, everyone went crazy, and you could hear him sort of playing this stuff. And I remember as a kid, I could have fainted, and then the lights come up, and here he is, and he was dressed in the suit, and, all of that, and just played his ass off. And then Mark Knopfler was there. And when I was really little, I used to also bounce around playing, the Brothers in Arms album.
Yeah.
Money for Nothing was a big hit for me when I was little, and so there he was, So it was really a life-changing experience for me.
As you know, and as we all know, that having the talent, which you obviously have, is not enough to succeed in this business, and you need to have a little bit of luck, a little bit of good fortune, timing, being in the right place at the right time, and you've had that, because if you look back to 2 occasions in your life, one when you'd met Jeff Healy on a number of occasions, the third time you end up jamming on stage. And that's when you're in the back of the manager's car on the way back, and he's going, "Well, do you want to come and join us?" I mean, this was a good day for you.
Oh, I remember it well. I remember the car. I remember the texture of the seats in the car, and I remember, my dear friend to this day, Corey Miluk from Toronto. Corey was very close with Jeff and used to take care of Jeff, really take him to different clubs. And when Jeff was a teenager and on the scene, and they became friends, and so I was a teenager, and Corey and I met. We bonded over wah-wah pedals, and he knew obviously Jeff was one of my main influences, and I loved him very much. And so he said, "Hey Jeff, there's a guy, he's coming up and he really likes you, and I think you should." I didn't know he was doing this, and so Jeff showed up at a show, and And I didn't know until after, and people were like, Jeff was here. And I said, oh shit, what?
This was why the crowd was going.
People started making, I was like, wow, everyone's really into it tonight. And then they said, my friends were backing me up. And then, Jeff, we jammed one of these nights, and he played the bass, and I think he wanted to kind of see what was going on, and he scared the shit out of me. And then, then we went out, and he said, hey man, why don't you join my band, and we'll teach you how to do it, and then we'll get you ready, and we'll get you out on your own. I mean, he was, apart from being just about, there's nobody better than Jeff. I mean, when he was playing, it was like, like really master ninja playing, master, just otherworldly musician. And but he was a man of his word, and he really backed me up and gave me a chance.
There was one great piece of advice that he gave you, wasn't there? Because I can imagine, there you are, you're very young, you've got all this enthusiasm, all this energy, you want to get out there, you want to give it everything.
Oh yeah.
And it's like 150 miles an hour, and he just pulls you over and says, look, slow down, smell the roses.
Oh yeah, totally.
I love that.
Well, because here's the thing, Jeff could play faster than the speed of light, and he could play slower than molasses. Like he had it all, and I was so in awe of him. And I think he was coaching me, he was a coach. And so he kind of, every night on stage, he would give me a lot of time to play. And then he would be like, okay, good. And then he would play and be like, oh man. And then, so he was really stretching me like a rubber band, like Gumby, because he was like, man, this guy loves it. And so he opened my heart, and he poured in some love.
But if you thought that was good, so you're there, you've blown up a few amps, and you're in LA, and was it Westwood Music, wasn't it? Or
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Westwood Music in LA.
Yeah.
And you're in there on an ordinary day, and you plug your guitar in, and then some guy comes up to you and says, "Who the hell are you? where do you come from? What's your name? Who do you play for? What are you?
Yeah.
Here's my card."
Yeah.
And this is the A&R guy from Atlantic Records.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know is you're working with Melissa.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this gentleman is one of the most successful producers of all time. Tremendous guitar hero and amazing musician and composer. John Shanks is his name, and I think he's got over 60 million records sold to his credit as a producer. And I think he's part of Bon Jovi's band now, but he's also been somebody that was a real godsend, and I feel like I learned a lot from him. And he gave me a chance. I was new in town at the time. I went to Westwood trying amps, because on the road I'd been blowing amps up. I was playing with an artist named Uncle Cracker at the time. And he was really had a huge hit at the time, and it was a great, amazing learning experience. And so John just said, yeah, come to my studio. And he really liked this guitar that I had. The guitar, her name is Mother. And
Mother's not with us.
Mother's at home.
But you got Big Daddy.
Big Daddy's here. Mother's at home smoking a pancake or something, as I was saying before. She's just chilling, watching Netflix. And John invited me to his studio. At the time, he was over at Henson in LA, and I went by, and he had all these beautiful old guitars and Dumble amps, and we just kind of hit it off. And so he gave Melissa Etheridge a call.
Yeah.
She was looking for someone that could play and sing, and then when Melissa and I met, we really hit it off as well. She was amazing, and her band, it was Kenny Aronoff on drums, come on, and Mark Brown on bass. These guys were big cats, and so I was a little terrified, but I went in, and they were really nice to me.
And they said that you were given room to express your own talent. You weren't just there as, right, do this. When you've done that, stay there. You were given a chance to solo. You were given a chance to come out on the stage and wow the crowd.
Well, it was really Melissa. It's all Melissa, right? And she's such a powerful artist, and she just said, "Hey, I'm going to give you. I want you to play, and when you're done, give me a wink, and we'll get back to it." So she was so generous, and such an amazing mentor, and one of the most powerful artists I've ever seen or had the pleasure of collaborating with. And
so why'd you leave? I mean, I know the reason why you left. I mean,
Okay.
it's to develop your own,
Yeah.
your own career, your own personality, and you know, it was a big move. But when you look at the success that you'd had, and it had come, I mean, there'd obviously been work behind it, but it seemed that you had a knack for being in the right place at the right time. So transferring this into a solo career would be a piece of cake.
Well, it's not really, but I think, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So was it a surprise to you that, it was more graft and, more work than you thought?
I think both are true. So I had already been, I'd signed with a record company when I was 19. Just before I'd signed up with Jeff, I'd signed with a record company and sort of done some recordings which were released on a release that's, I think it's called Phillip Sayce Group, and some of them were finished, some of them were, could have used a little bit more grease on them, but they're fine. I love them. They're very raw and honest, and so I'd already been doing stuff, and then in between tours, I was doing my own shows as well with Melissa and Jeff, and Melissa always knew that I was doing my own thing, and so just like with Jeff, it came to a place where it was like, I think it's time. You gotta go do your thing too, and that's the sign of a real musical friend, somebody that. So she really gave me a great push. Oh yeah.
The one quote I did love that I saw of yours when somebody was saying to you, so what is the main difference here? And you said, well, here we are. We've gone from the Ritz and the Mandarin Oriental and the Four Seasons to the Travel Lodge on Marylebone Road.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah, where they're burning mattresses in the parking lot. I mean, seriously, it was
character building.
Oh man, yeah, and like going from traveling in a very, very cushy, posh way. Like you're flying there. Sometimes we'd be flying private. You just roll into this beautiful venue. I mean, with Melissa, she has a lot of high-end celebrity friends, and so. We got to play around.
You looking up in the audience. Oh shit, there's Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. That's she's friends with Pete. All of the Steven Spielberg and all this. It was amazing, and just a great learning experience and watching how she carried herself, and so she was a real influence to me both on and off stage. She's a great person.
So, big couple of months coming up to you because you got the new album, The Wolves Are Coming. So, what's behind the title, first of all? where were you? On what state of mind were you in when you dreamt up the title?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So really, most of the album was, sort of conceived and written during the pandemic, during this lockdown era, and not really knowing if there was going to be any opportunity. And so I just really locked myself up for a couple of years, just practicing every day for as many hours as I could before before driving my wife crazy or whatever, but just, playing as long as I could and singing. I would go out to the car and sing for an hour a day in the car and just made the most of it, used it as a training time, and then also carved out a certain number of hours each day to write new music.
Yeah.
And so it became a real focused work period for me, not knowing what was going to happen. And the Wolves Are Coming is really, it has so many different meanings for me, but the one that's coming to mind right now is it's sort of like a kick in the ass. Like, the wolves are coming, get going. Like, we got
a message to yourself.
A message to myself. Time to get moving. And so, don't dawdle here. Let's get moving.
We've got a range of styles here. We've already seen the Witch's Brew. I need a Freudian slip there. And Lady Love Divine, which now this was a really surprising track because putting this on first time and listening to this, all of a sudden, because you're a great lover of funk.
Oh yeah,
you love funk, you love groove
for sure.
And this has elements of Stevie Wonder. There was elements of Walshy and the James Gang.
Oh wow,
in there. It had a really groovy feel. So is that where we're going with this album, or is it just you've thrown a whole lot of stuff in there? This just happens to be one that's different.
Well, if those names come up by listening to that song, it's the biggest. That's the biggest compliment you could imagine, and to me. So thank you. And I think really there's a number of different lanes on the album.
Yeah.
And so this is a song that I've had for a while. I had started the song some time ago in a writing session with Richard Marx. And we had written a lot of songs together, and this was one that during the pandemic I found. I was like, oh, that could be good. And so I finished the song, and it came out the way it did, and I'm happy with it.
Great track, really, really good track.
Thank you.
Because you put on something, and you almost know what you're going to be hearing before it arrives. Yeah, and this is why having the element of surprise is a big thing, and that was a big surprise.
Oh well, that's great to hear, and I'm always trying to push myself and try to keep learning and growing. I mean, as I said, I'm a student of music, so. And you mentioned Stevie Wonder. I'm a huge fan of Stevie Wonder. His catalog it's impossible to describe the brilliance of the man. And so there is a little Stevie influence along with other people in there. And but I think just trying to do the best that I can with this song, and it's ultimately a love song. I just want to have fun with it.
And so you're doing a short tour over here in the UK.
That's right.
Are there plans to get back and do a bigger one, festival appearances maybe next summer?
I sure hope so. If they'll have us, if you're listening, we welcome the opportunity.
Phillip Sayce, thank you very, very much. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
And good luck with the album.
All right.
We're looking forward to seeing the show tonight.
Oh man, thank you for this opportunity, and we'll see you tonight. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, we're doing.
All right. Cheers.
And we aren't really going to get in a car with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
No, I don't drink. So
Do you not drink?
I don't drink. No.
Shit, what, never?
Well, no. I mean, once a year, I'll have a Aperol spritz or something. But no, I don't enjoy it.
Is that so? That's how the complexion stayed.
I don't know about that, but I don't really.
There is much in the way of lineage.
But I have no. If you want to drink, like I said, I'll drive. You do the drinking, I'll do the driving.
You do the playing.
Well,
Take care, my friend.
cheers, my friend. Thank you.